Hi there, my name is Carly, if I haven't met you yet, and I'm a teacher in the 4th grade department here. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to you all today and share what I think could be some really beneficial information for all of us here to increase the success of our students this academic year and beyond. This is some stuff that I think will be useful for all of us and for our students as they go throughout their lives. Now I know I'm a new addition to staff here, and all this information might be new, you might have some hesitancies, so please, if you have any questions or confusion with what I am about to share with you all, please just come to me afterwards and I'd be really happy to talk. With that said, I'm really glad that we can all come together here today to brainstorm and propose some new solutions that will better the classrooms we have and the climate of our school as a whole, but most importantly, just provide better learning experiences for all of our students. These past few years, I've been looking for new ways to better myself as an educator and find new resources to reach my students. And one thing that I found is called culturally responsive teaching. So today I'm just going to share a few things that I think will be really helpful for any teacher to incorporate into their classroom. Along with that, however, I know that this is just a brief presentation, and I encourage you all to, if you haven't heard of culturally responsive teaching or you're not currently doing it in your classroom, to just look into it a little bit more and see what ways that you can continue learning. So as I'm sure we all have seen in our own classrooms, our students come from different cultural backgrounds and different life experiences. And so with that, it's important that we acknowledge that too. All of our students look different physically. And one way that we can acknowledge and honor our students is by making sure that we have multiple means of representing them in our classroom. So when you walk into your classroom, what do you see on the walls? What kind of books do we have? Are students able to see themselves and relate to their experience in the physical classroom? That's something that will put all of our students at ease just a little bit, but it's definitely not the only step we can take. Just as it's important for our students to see themselves in the walls of our classroom and in the different means of representation that we have, it's equally as important, actually maybe even more important and vital, that students are able to relate to the curriculum we're teaching them. So something I couldn't help from noticing upon walking into my new classroom is that some of the textbooks we're using seem to be a little bit out of date, just in the language and the topics that they discuss. And it's really important that our students are able to connect to what they're learning. It's important that upon reading whatever's in their textbooks, students can look at it and say, oh yeah, and relate it to something that maybe they've experienced in their own life or that they're experiencing now in this community. An assistant professor at Northeast University, Therese Childers McKee, articulated this well when she explained how students are not blank slates. They enter the classroom with diverse experiences, and teachers should encourage students to draw on their prior knowledge in order to contribute to group discussions, which provides an anchor to learning. So when we're teaching what can be made relatable to students, they'll flourish, and we'll see the levels of success in the classroom rise. With that said, I know at times it can be discouraging as teachers when we see the achievement level is so low, and us as a district want to be higher performing. But it's important through this that we acknowledge and we understand that students want to learn. They want to be challenged, and they want to be challenged frequently. They don't want to be held to lower standards than what they deserve. In addition, I also know that the parents of these students want the best for them, and I was able to have some really great interactions with enthusiastic parents the other night. In the same breath, not all of these parents have the same access to technology or conducive schedule to regularly interact with us. But it doesn't mean that they don't care or that they aren't trying. The only missing piece here is that they just need to be presented the right means of being able to connect to what material they're being taught. In a book called Anti-Racism and Universal Design for Learning, the author Andretisha Fitzgerald articulates the importance of providing different means of receiving information when she says, quote, "Providing multiple means of representation shows students that you've thought ahead about their background knowledge and experience, community and cultural references, and other aids to understanding, which communicates a strong desire to see the entire community of learners succeed." Teaching what's in our curriculum in the right way is so essential, but it can't happen at all if we don't have this one element in our classroom, and that's trust. Making sure that our students feel welcomed, honored, and safe in the classroom will allow them to fully engage in their learning. And this isn't just some arbitrary thing I'm throwing out. Culturally responsive teaching emphasizes the importance of brain science. So when students feel like they are in a trusting environment, when they feel safe, their brain releases a hormone called oxytocin. And what oxytocin does in that moment is it allows the student to let go of any anxieties they may have been holding on to, and the brain frees up more space to dedicate energy to what they're actually learning in front of them. Keeping this in mind, when students feel threatened or anything like that, their brain physically cannot learn. In her book, Culturally Responsive Teaching and the Brain, which I recommend as a wonderful resource for any of you looking to incorporate these things into your classroom, the author Zaretta Hammond explains this more when she says, even if the environment isn't hostile, but simply unwelcoming, the brain doesn't produce enough oxytocin and begins to experience anxiety. I think one of the key elements to trust is listening. And this means being intentional and taking in whatever our students bring to us with true curiosity and true understanding. Trust also comes when we understand that our classrooms are a two-way street, that teaching and learning go hand in hand, and students can contribute just as equally than what the teacher can contribute. I know this might come as some shell shock to hear because as we grew up, we were taught that teachers have the power in the classroom. And sometimes I feel like we can think that that is the one way we can gain control and the right way of teaching. When really creating control and establishing a positive classroom comes in developing trust. Facilitating trust doesn't come with a quick snap of the fingers, though. So one way that we can start to create a community that is comfortable is by shifting our instruction to become more collectivist, or in other words, focusing on working together as a group rather than individual work. This could be done with more discussion, more storytelling, and group-based work. So thank you for taking the time to hear me out and listen to everything that I've expressed today. I know it's a lot of information to intake, and of course, if you have any questions, I'll be here the whole school year, and I'm looking forward to teaching with you all this year. Thank you.